Hi, this is Mohammed, and today we're going to talk about the cell cycle in chapter 12 and how cell divides in mitosis. So we have an overview. First, let's take an overview. The key role of the cell division. So the key role of cell division, the ability of an organism to produce their own kind, is the one characteristic that best distinguishes the living things from the non-living. That's how it is basically. So for example, so species that produce their own kind, meaning that, for example, a giraffe can produce a baby giraffe, a human can produce a baby human, and elephant can produce an elephant human, baby elephant, my bad. So cell division function in reproduction, growth, and repair. So the division of the unicellular organism reproduces an entire organism, increasing the population, meaning that, so this includes the organism that can grow by cuttings. Cell division enables multicellular organism to develop from a single fertilized zygote, meaning that they develop, for example, the sperm can diffuse or fuses to ovum. That's the sperm from the man, the sperm from the man, and the ovum or the female egg, which they fuse and they fertilize. After they fertilize, they produce an egg. They produce a zygote. So in multicellular organisms, cell division functions to repair and renew cells that die from the removal from normal wear and or tears or accidents. That's basically how it is. So meaning that's how cells repair themselves. So they function to repair. So cells, when they have an accident or they repair themselves or renew from normal wear or tear or accident. So it happens in accident. So we have, here's the thing, cell growth here. I'm sorry. You can see here the cell growth. The cell reproduces first. When the two sex cells combines or fuses, where, for example, the sperm and the ovum, that's the female egg. When they fuse, they reproduce, and after that they grow or development. That's how it is. After that's what happened. This is where the cell division is, and they grow first before they divide. And here's the tissue renewable, where for example, it replaces the old or the cells that are had an accident before. We have the cell division results in genetically identical daughter cells. So that's how most cells division result in daughter cells with identical genetic information, which is DNA basically. A specific type of cell division produces non-identical daughters. That's an example, the gametes or sperms, an egg of a female, an egg basically. We have the cellular organization of genetic materials. All the DNA in cells constitute the cell's genome. So genome, for example, is a genome consists. Genome can consist of a single DNA, which is single DNA is common in prokaryotes, which is like non-living cells, or meaning that or bacteria, or number of DNA molecules. That's common in eukaryotic cells. So we have DNA molecules in the cell are packaged into chromosomes. That's how it is. How the gene is packaged. That's how it is again. Gene in chromosomes, how they are packed. This is how the picture it is. How chromosomes are basically packed. How DNA are packed in the chromosomes. We have every eukaryotic species has a characteristic number of chromosomes in each cell nucleus. We have, for example, in somatic cells. Somatic cells are the body cells, except the sex cells. These are the non-reproductive cells. They don't produce anything. They have a two set of chromosomes, meaning that 2 pairs of chromosomes, which means that they have 46 chromosomes, each from the man, each from a mom, and each, which is 23 chromosomes from a man, and 23 chromosomes from 23 chromosomes from a mom, and 23 chromosomes from a dad. That's where they get that's where they get 2 sets of chromosomes, or 2 pairs of chromosomes. The gametes, reproductive cells, sperms and cells, have half as many chromosomes as somatic cells, meaning that meaning that the gametes mainly they originated or came from especially from somatic cells. That's where they originated, meaning that a father gave gamete cells. They originated from parents, the 2 parents, meaning that one set of chromosomes is given by the mom and the other one is given by the man. So meaning that they give half of it. That's why they are reproductive. They have the sperm. So the sperm, for example, the sperm from the man gives 23 chromosomes, and the egg which fuses gives 23 of them. That's how it works. In eukaryotic cells, So in eukaryotic, chromosomes consist of chromatin, a complex of DNA and protein that condenses during cell division. We have distribution of chromosomes during eukaryotic cells. So in preparation for cell division, DNA is replicated and the chromosomes condenses first. Each duplicated chromosome has 2 sister chromatids, which separates during cell division. The centromere is now narrow. So during the which separate during the cell division. So during the cell division of eukaryotic cell division, the centromere it becomes narrow. I mean the west is the centromere, basically. The rest of the duplicated chromosome, where the 2 chromatids are most closely attached, meaning that they are attached, but the waist or the centromere, meaning it's kind of thin or narrow. That's what it becomes during the cell division of eukaryotic. This is where it is again. You see, the centromere is kind of narrow, and the 2 sister chromatids. Now, for example, you have the chromosomes arm. And this, the chromosomes duplicate first, including DNA synthesis. Then the sister chromatids happen after they duplicate. Then separation of sister chromatids. Then this is the centromere again. Each of them have a centromere. This is sister chromatids. This is an example of sister chromatids. We have eukaryotic cell division consists of mitosis. Mitosis, the division of nucleus, and also eukaryotic cell consists of mitosis, division of nucleus. So mitosis, meaning that if the main thing to know about mitosis is if they ask what is the mitosis is the division of nucleus. That's the main thing you have to know about that. The cytokinesis is the division of cytoplasm. This is so that's the last stage where the 2 cells separate, where the 2 chromosomes separates basically, and each one has their own chromosomes. We have gametes are produced by variation of cell division called meiosis. So gametes, if you know, gametes basically is a sex cell that consists. Another name of gametes you can call it is a sex cell, meaning that it has a sex cells, meaning that it has 23 chromosomes from sperms, which produced by the father, and 23 chromosomes from a mom or mother, which is 23 chromosomes, which is they give out, so they fuse. So these are the sex cells. They produce, so the mother produces the egg, and the dad or father produces the sperm, which then fertilizes or come together, and that's only when meiosis takes place. Yeah. So meiosis yields the 9 identical daughter cells that have only 1 set of chromosomes, half as many parent of the cell. As I said before, so meiosis only yields 9, so they are not identical. They're always different. Daughter cells, are really different. So we have the mitotic phase alternates with interphase in cell cycle. We have phases of cell cycle first. So first, let's go. So in order to know the alternation of the interphase in cell cycle, so the cell cycle, phases of cell cycle. The cell cycle consists of mitotic phase, mitosis and cytokinesis, which mostly happens in the mitotic phase. The cell cycle consists of the mitotic phase and the interphase. The mitotic phase only does is only mitosis and cytokinesis. That's the only process that happens. In the interphase, the cell grows. The cell grows and copies the chromosome in preparation for cell division. We can talk about where the cell copies, which part of the interphase copies the cell. So we have in the interphase about 90% of the cell cycle can be divided into subphases. That's where it takes, meaning that it takes 90% of the cell cycle. So only 10% means 10%, which takes the mitotic phase. We have G1, so we have the phases. The subphases are the G1, the first gap, the S phase, that's a synthesis phase, and also the G2 phase, the second phase. So the cell grows during all three phases, but chromosomes are duplicated during S phases. You see, only G1 and G2 is when the growth of cell happens, but in the S phase is when the cells are duplicated or like produces two identical sister chromatids. Here's again the cell cycle. We have the interphase, which covers 90% of the 90% of the cell cycle. We have the G1 phase. This is when cell grows. Where when we say growth of cell, meaning that more protein grows. So for preparation to duplication or replication of a cell, which is in S phase. So S phase copies the cell cycle. The cell. I'm sorry, the cell. Then after the copying, it prepares for G2 to be passed. So to go to G2. After G2, the cells grow more, and then which prepares itself for division of the cell. Then we have the cytokinesis and mitosis. We're going to talk about each of the phases in the cell cycle, or each of the phases in mitotic phase individual. So mitosis is conventionally divided into 5 phases: the prophase, the prometaphase, the metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Cytokinesis is well underway by late telophase. It only happens in the late telophase. That's when cytokinesis takes place.